Okay then people, welcome back to the cooking part of the curry with Rogan Josh. Um, if you watched the first part, the preparation part of the video, you'll obviously know what ingredients I'll be using and what's been prepared already. So as you can see in front of me, I've got two pans. I've got one saucepan with water being boiled. Obviously gonna have to add a little bit of salt. It should help bring to the boil faster. That is for the potatoes. So as you've seen in my other video, I chopped up some potatoes, and obviously if you're going to have a vegetarian curry, this is probably what you're going to be using, so you'll need to parboil them so they're nice and soft. Not too soft, because obviously they will cook. They'll cook in the curry as well, but you'll need to at least soften them slightly so the skins are soft. Okay, so we'll leave them potatoes in there to boil away. Put that to one side. Now as you can see in this pan here, this frying pan, this is where we're going to cook the curry itself. So first of all, you're going to rather need a tiny bit of oil or a tiny bit of butter. Obviously that's a little hot, but it's okay. So we'll add a little bit of butter. I'll turn it down a little because we don't want it to burn. And now in here first of all is where we are going to cook. You're going to have this on a low heat, not so high. This is kind of high anyway. But in here we're going to add in now let's add the chicken. Now actually, first of all, sorry about this, I'm going to need a little bit more butter actually. Just to give it a bit of butteriness, because obviously we're going to have the garlic first. There we go, that's enough butter, that's enough. Okay, so to this, we will add the garlic. So if you're having garlic, you'll add it first, because obviously it's going to have the bittery taste if you burn it. So you'll watch you go burn the garlic. That's why you want it on a nice low heat. You want the butter to infuse with the garlic and the garlic to infuse with the butter, so the butter's nice and garlicky. Okay, you just spin that round, you'll smell the flavours straight away. The garlic, as you can see, just bubbling away there nicely. Turn it down a bit too low, turn it up a little bit more. Okay, now give that a couple of seconds. It don't have to have long, because obviously the chicken's got to go in there. You don't want it to burn. You don't want burnt garlic. Obviously if you want less garlic, that's fine. You don't have to add as much as what I've added. So, okay. Now we'll add some chicken. This has got two proteins in. Obviously it's got potatoes, and obviously it's got the chicken. Normally if you only need one lot of protein, you're going to add two lots in this case. Now, I'm going to add into this a few cumin seeds. First time I've ever tried this. First time I've added cumin seeds in this curry, so it's a trial and error. I'll add just a few. Should give it a little bit of a kick. If you can see, there's not a lot there really. Just coat the chicken. Turn it over, turn them over. Add a couple more. That should be enough. Yep, that's enough. So, cumin seeds. Add it to the chicken and garlic with the butter. Obviously, cook the spices out. Always cook spices out. So, if you're gonna add spices to anything, always make sure that you cook them. Don't ever just put them in raw and then expect it to cook like from a sauce. Always, just you always want to at least give them a good frying. Okay. Now we're going to add cayenne pepper with it. So we're going to add a little bit of salt, just a tiny little bit. There we go. Obviously, we want the chicken so it's not pink. We want it to at least be white all over before we start adding anything else. And it's getting there. So we can start adding the onion now. So, as you can see, is the onion. I'm going to add about half of the onion. You're not going to need loads of onion because obviously you got other things in there as well. So, like I said before, you'll probably have half. If you chop up a full onion, you probably have half remaining, which you can put to one side and use for something else at some other point. Now, you're going to need to cook this until the onions have gone quite soft. So the onions have to be quite soft at this point, because the next thing we'll need to add is the paste itself. As you can see at the minute, the potatoes are just boiling away. Just leave them to boil away until basically you lay. Sorry about that, we had a slight issue with the camera. I'm back now. As I was saying, just let the potatoes boil for roughly about 10 minutes. Okay, so as before I said, basically let the onions soften. In between I have added some cumin seeds, also a little bit of cayenne pepper, and also a little bit of black pepper. So that's what I've added to this at the minute. As you can see, starting to basically take shape into a curry. If you can see, without all the steam. So as you can see now, the potatoes are looking parboiled, so I'm going to take them off and we're just going to stick to the actual curry itself. So now once the onions have softened and they're a little bit softer, obviously they're still a little bit hard at the minute, we'll have to turn down the frying pan a little. So you will need to drain these potatoes off. Okay, they're drained off. So as you can see, the chicken's starting to brown and the bottom of the pan. Now, this is the time I normally add just a tiny bit of chili powder, and I'm talking a tiny bit, I'm talking that much. Okay, maybe a little bit less. Well, we'll put about that much in. Just sprinkle it over. Hopefully you're going to be able to see this. So as you can see, at the minute, the bottom of the pan is getting nice and black. That's from all the spices and everything. So you just leave that on. Turn it right down now. Obviously, so far we've added the chili powder, a bit of cayenne pepper, a couple of cumin seeds, and a little bit of black pepper, and a tiny bit of salt. Okay, so if you can see, now we're going to add the paste itself. So the Rogan Josh paste, You can add whatever paste you like, whatever flavour curry you want. So normally I would add probably there's one. Normally 2 nice large tablespoons of the paste. And then give that a good mix. Let them spices burn, or well, not burn, but you know, let them work their way into the chicken and into the bottom of the pan. It will look like it's like kind of burning, but that is obviously because the spices are quite dark. Now, as you can see, I'm probably thinking that is one drier pan. As you can see now, I can bring it up to the camera. There we go. Doesn't look very appetising, I know, but don't worry, it will eventually. So you just leave that to cook for roughly a couple of minutes. Give it 5 minutes of cooking, just to cook the spices out. Obviously you will need to add water to it anyway. Now, also I recommend at this point adding the tomato paste. So normally 1, 2, say 3 small tablespoons. Because that has to obviously cook out as well. So everything is dry at the minute. This is just basically the dry paste. And all this has to just cook into the chicken. Obviously you could add the potatoes in if you wanted the flavour in the potatoes as well, but they will simmer. Just scrape all the bottom, scrape all the spices off, because you will actually need them. Okay, so that's that. Now, I want to add the tomatoes. So as you can see, you probably need a few more tomatoes. Probably could do with a couple of tomatoes, like 2 fresh tomatoes. I'm just going to add 1. Now that will give off a little bit of juice, not a lot. And as you can see, now the liquids come in, the bottom spices are all coming off. So can you see there? You can see, look a bit closer. Starting to look a bit more loose. So obviously it's very dry at the minute. I'll just leave that for a couple of seconds. Okay, so we will need okay, like I said before, you probably need a little bit of chicken gravy, granules, more than likely, if it gets really loose, or if you want to add a bit of stock. Obviously it's going to need stock because it's quite thick. Unless you like it really thick, you can just add a little bit of water and, you know, it would be really thick, but I'm going to add a little bit of gravy juice. So what we're going to do is add 1, 2 spoonsful, add a little bit of water, about half a glass, half a pint, just add that in. Okay, so now as you can see it's really loose, really nice and loose, just the way you would expect after adding that much water, but trust me, it will thicken up. Now, with all that that flavouring that you've just put in there, and all them spices and Cajun peppers and salt and all different things, obviously it's going to take time to all blend together. So at this point, I'd say add your potatoes, parboiled potatoes, remember to always parboil them. They will actually soak up some of the juices. And now we'll just let this simmer on a really low heat. I mean, like the lowest your cooker will go down to, like a 1. A 1, yeah, so just rating 1. Okay. There we go. As you can see, we'll bring it to the boil. You probably need to keep out the salt and the pepper for seasoning. So you'll probably need to obviously season to your own taste when it's cooked. Whoops, camera's moved. There we go. I'll move the camera. So as you can see now, look at a thing. It's just over potato, call it big potato there. Needs to make sure all the potatoes are covered over. Okay, now basically you'll leave that to simmer away on the lowest setting for about half an hour. And normally 2 seconds, I'll just put the camera down. Normally I would recommend that you cover it over. Obviously I'll cover it over with a plate. There we go. If you got a lid, obviously you just put a lid on top. And we'll be back when it's finished. Oh no, actually we've got one more thing to do. Obviously you ain't gonna have this curry on its own. So normally, sorry, it's going to be a bit jolty because I've got the camera in my hand. So now normally when you have a curry, you have rice. Okay, so rice boys, what you do, nice and simple, open up the rice like so. You get a small cup like so. Like so. There you go. So 1 cup of rice, whack it in. Then all you do is one cup of water and 2 cups of water. And then basically just put down the heat, let it, put it on a medium heat. So medium heat, and just let it boil away. When it starts boiling, cover it and turn it off, and the rice will be perfectly fine. Now, obviously, I'm gonna do this with my hand. Show you what the curry is looking like. So at the minute it's looking kind of nice. Also, we forgot to add a certain thing into this. So if you remember before, I did actually say I chopped up some peppers. So here we go. We're going to add the peppers now. Chip them in. Put that back. As you can see, this is going to be quite a beefy curry. Obviously these peppers are going to soften. This is plenty curry for at least 4 people, I'd say. Obviously don't eat all this, like probably leave half of it and put it in the freezer or in the fridge the day after. So there we go. There's the curry just simmering away nice and slowly. But obviously by the time the rice is cooked, the curry is cooked. So we'll come back in about 20 to 25 minutes and show you the finished product. Okay then, welcome back. As you can see now, if the camera will focus, the curry is bubbling away nice and slowly there, and we've got the rice bubbling away. Like I said before, if you want, when the rice start bubbling, you can just switch it off, put a lid on it. Obviously watch it don't overflow, so leave a bit of a gap, like so it can bubble away nicely. As you can see, you'll probably have to keep turning the curry, just stirring it nicely. As you can see at the minute it's quite loose, so might have to add just just a little tablespoon of chicken granules. So we'll get the chicken granules out, just to thicken it back up a bit more. Probably just needed a little tiny bit less water, but obviously it doesn't matter, just a tiny bit, just a spoonful. Just stir that in. It needs roughly about half an hour cooking time. There we go. And obviously the potatoes need to be fully cooked. So we'll put the lid back on, turn it up slightly, turn it up. So obviously we'll come back when the curry is actually finished. So just always remember you have to keep stirring it, and obviously just leave the rice to do its own thing. Obviously the water's starting to bubble, so I'm just going to turn it off now and just leave that rice to bubble away on its own. Just get something to cover it over. 2 seconds while I put the camera down. So basically just cover both containers, leave the rice with a little bit of a gap, obviously otherwise it'll bubble over completely, and just keep checking every 10 to 15 minutes, keep stirring, just keep coming back and just looking at it. If the potatoes feel soft and cooked, then the curry is ready. We're talking about another 15 minutes for this curry to be done. Potatoes are getting there slowly. So, as you can see, I will upload a photo of the finished product when it's finished. Hope you like this new channel, hope you like this video. Please like and share, and there'll be plenty more videos like this to come. Cheers!